Hello, this is Dr. Valerie Bennett, and I am the Ministry Coordinator for Robotics as part of the Scholastic Motivation Ministries. And today we will get into even more details about how to really program your robot now to move around and to do things to help you to solve the Space Challenge missions. So I will show you within the EV3 Teacher Edition software and show you where to find those particular tutorials to help you really start to fine tune your program to make your robot move around, perhaps use the sensors to solve those challenges. So we have started with the start here. We've gotten into some initial programming things on some previous videos, but now we're going to get into the tutorials for the driving your robot around and moving your robot to help to solve those particular challenges. So I just wanted to touch base a little bit on some of the things you'll find here under the tutorials for the robot educator. But of course, this is for anyone who's actively using the EV3 software. So just clicking on the basics there, just share with you some of the options there. Many of these we will not really be using for our particular challenge, but just so you'll know what's there for the hardware basics, these are things to just get you more familiar with your brick or the brain of the robot. So if you are just trying to have your brick make some sounds, here's a short video you can play. And then of course, if you click on the open, it'll show you exactly what to do on the brick. It's very simple what you have to do in terms of, there's that video there. Okay, so it's just going to show you how to make your brick make sounds. Again, something that not necessarily is connected to our competition, but just so you'll see, what that particular thing does. So all of these things under the brick basics hardware don't really help necessarily with the competition, but it just shows you how to kind of do some basic things with it. But again, not really related to what we're going to be doing for the challenge. So it's just something to play with if you and your team have time to do that. Okay. But what I really wanted to get into today was showing you about making the robot move. So before we just get into one or two of these, it's going to show you how to make your robot move straight, to do what's called tank move, and that's of course very different from just moving straight. How to stop at an object, to use that ultrasonic sensor to move a particular object, and that's something we know we'll probably have to do with our moon rocks. So how can you actually move something? Okay, to make your robot move in a curve, stop at a line, stop at an angle, which is pretty cool. Configuring some blocks there, that's really cool to do as well. And then one part that we can't really use in the competition because you can't touch or program your robot while it's actively on the missions board, but you can program right on the brick itself without using the canvas and downloading software. So that's something that you can, do with your brick, but something we can't do for the competition. So just letting you know that's there. All right. Before we get into some of those first two kind of programs at the top here, I wanted to just mention to you about what Beyond Basics is looking like for you. This is really incredible for the teams that do have time to really think about strategy. How can I do maybe one or two or three missions at a time using this um, these multitasking features that is so incredible within the software. So multitasking is just that, doing more than one task at a time. And you'll be using loops, switches, multiple switches, perhaps arrays. Sometimes the data wires will help with this. Again, it just takes a lot of thought, a lot of thinking into what strategy can my team use to just be extremely efficient with solving or, achieving some of the missions. So I'm not going to really get into those into this video, but I wanted to share with you, if your team has time to really think about using some of these additional features, all of them may not make sense, but some of them will for you. All right. And I'm going to leave it up to the teams to be creative in terms of how they could possibly use this. Again, this is very advanced, but it is available to you. And these give you some basics, some hints as to how to use these more advanced features. Okay. Pretty awesome stuff there. And we're just going to click down all the way so you can see what's available for you. Okay. Again, these give you some great tutorials showing you how to actually use some of these features. Some of them may not make sense at all to use, all right? One of them, well, I won't even say, but you just use your own thought process as to what may make sense for you and your team. But these are there in terms of going beyond the basics, all right? Data logging, I have not seen teams use this as of yet, but there may be some reasons as to how you may use this. Okay. So I'm just showing you that is there, that this is something that is available to you, and you can work through some tutorials. Okay. So I'm going to click on tools for you. So this again goes kind of to the next level again. Sound editor, my blocks, which again allows you to create your own programs, create your own mini programs, like a subroutine for those of you that may have done some program before. And so you can make your own block and just keep that perhaps for another purpose, for another challenge or another program you may be doing in the future. Okay. The image editor, this is something that may not really apply to, our particular challenge, but it's just a cool feature that EV3 has capability of doing. Okay, so I just wanted to share those with you. And I'm going to go back up to basics. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to cover moving straight. We had a little experience with that with the previous video. And I'm going to scroll down and we will go to stop at a line. Okay, I'm going to have you guys, go on your own and click through those particular details for those tutorials because it's all there for you, which is so amazing. Okay, so let me click on straight move. Okay, and let me click on the little video so you'll see what it does. Okay, so kind of remind you some of those cool things that are there. So it just moves forward and backwards, moves forward and backwards. All right, so let's go ahead and open that up and let's program this. Okay, so it says we're going to investigate the different ways of controlling the driving base moving in a straight line. All right, so what missions would we need to have our robot move in a straight line? Well, several of them, pretty much all of them really require that, right? So let's see how we do that. So the video, is the same there. So let's look at step 2 of 5, okay? That second step is just basically saying you're going to build the base robot, which hopefully you've already done. And now we're just using our robot now to make it do different things. Okay, so if you have not already built your driving base, it steps you through what parts to use, how many of that part, and then in the bigger picture here, it shows you how to connect the parts. And this goes on and on to help you put together your driving base. So I'm assuming that you have put together your driving base, and now we're just going to begin to use it now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to step 3. All right, now I love this feature within the EV3 tutorials, and that's called the interactive animations. So if we click on a particular block, it shows you in the picture or in the video what it's actually doing. So you see how it's highlighting, and then it's actually showing the motion over on the video. So let me do that again. Let me start it all over here. So it's you're kind of multitasking as you're looking as well. We're going to play the video, but the program over here highlighting is doing what the highlighted part of the program shows you in the video. All right, so it's super cool what it's doing. All right, so then this is the next cool thing. Now we're going to actually create this program. So it's basically moving forward, waiting, and then moving backwards. It's moving forward and backwards. So it says to recreate the program, then download it to test it. So it already has our, start block here. That's kind of the default. And then it has this steering. It has B and C. But look what happens. I'm going to click on the steering, and at the bottom of my palette, it shows me exactly which one. You see how it's highlighted in blue? That's the one I need to drag over here. That's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and change all of the variables here to what it says into the test program. So we know this is rotations. It's going to move 2 rotations. I'm sorry, 0 rotations, not 0 rotations. It's going to move forward, okay? And then the power is set to 50%, half power. And then how many rotations? I'm going to change that. Click on that, change it to 2. And then what is it going to do at the end? It's going to basically stop. Okay, is it going to do anything else? Not right now. It's not going to move any forward or backwards because that's the end of my program on my canvas. And look what's different here. This is now ports B and C, meaning that both of those motors will be turning together at the same time and in the same direction. So that's why this is a really quick steering block. Okay, it already has B and C motors in there. B and C, your motor should be connected to ports B and C. All right, and they will be moving together. All right, so that's what that means. And so now the next part of the program is the wait. Okay, remember we use this wait in a lot of different ways, right? We had sensors here, wait till I touch a sensor, wait till the color sensor does something. So this is a very versatile block we can use. So I'm going to use the wait one, and as you see, it's highlighted in light blue when I click on it. So, I'm going to grab that one and connect it there. And so we're going to keep this one simple. It's just going to wait for 1 second. There you go. It's going to move forward, wait for 1 second. And okay, what's next here? I have another steering block. So I'm going to just drag and drop that there. Okay. And as you see, if I wanted to scoot that in between, right, it just moves for me. But I want to move it here. Now, now I'm going to actually reverse this, reverse the direction. So it says I'm going to move it for a certain degrees now, not for rotations. So that's another option. How many degrees I want it to rotate versus how many full rotations. So this allows you to be precise in terms of, okay, well, maybe not full rotations, maybe a rotation and a half or a third or even more precise. So you can do that there, right? So I want to change the direction here. So how do I want it to go? I want still have power, but I want it to be a negative. There we go. Negative 50. Okay, I can type it into negative 50. Okay, that'll make it much easier. And then the degrees, it says 720. Okay, so I'm going to type that. So it is going, for the first one, I have it 50% power. And then for the next one, I'm going to change the direction and go how many degrees? 720. All right. Then I'm going to have it to stop moving, like, or just stop at the end of that command and wait for what's next. And I'm going to add another wait block in here. So that's what this second orange block is. Slide that in there. Okay. And you see I'm kind of running out of space. So guess what I can do? I can highlight everything and just drag everything down. Isn't that cool? So it's almost like Word, right? You're copying, kind of highlighting everything and moving it around. There you go. And now I'm going to add my last action block, and that's steering. And it's going to, so this is forward, backwards, forward again. So this one will be seconds. So this gives you all different ways that you can control the motion. You can control it with rotations, degrees, or time. And as you're programming for your missions, you and your team can decide, well, what's the most efficient way? What's the best way to control the motion of my robot for this particular mission? Okay, one may work better than the other. So you just have to test that out. All right, so this one will just move forward for 1 second. Okay, so these will all kind of move, a different kind of distance every time. You can test that out. So I have my moving straight, moving forward and backward program written. All right. So now what do I need to do? Connect my EV3 to to my laptop. I'm going to download, okay, with the dash down arrow. And then once you hear the beep, press the play button. Not the play, but the run button. Okay, press that run button. And there you go. You have some amazing ways to control your robot to make it move forward or backward. And there you go. Hopefully you were successful at that. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go back to my lobby. And I think I will show you the tank move. And I know I will show you stop at object. And then you, of course, free to explore, which I highly recommend to help you learn how to do the missions, is to go through these tutorials. How can I make it curve? Maybe I don't want it to go straight all the time. So I really want you to go through all these tutorials. I just wanted to just give you some basics, and you can see where all the cool tutorials are. Okay, so let's take a quick look at tank move. And what is tank move? Let's play this little video. All right, tank move. Look at that. How do I make it go in a circle, at least rotate? You see how one motor or one wheel is stationary, then the other moves, or maybe you want a soft turn. So let me play that again. All right, look at that. You're twisting like in the middle. One motor is really powered, and then maybe both are powered, but one is powered a little more than the other. Okay, really cool stuff. All right, let me go ahead and open that. And I'm just going to show you those things here, but I think you'll get a sense for how this is done. All right, so as it shows in the other one, it assumes that you have built the base robot there. So I'm just going to skip over that one. So let's look at this one. All right. All right, so let's see. What block is this one? This one is the steering, but it's the tank block that we've put there. And so it allows different power to go to the different motors. This is like the A and B motor. And then this is for the degrees. You see that? That's degrees. And then it's going to stop, wait for 1 second. And look at this one. This is also the tank one. Let's see. We have 40% power to one of the motors and 0% power to the other motor. So this wheel is stationary. It's not moving. And then this one is moving 1,380 degrees. There you go. Waiting a second. Tank again, but this is number of rotations. Let's see. Now, both of these motors are powered, but look, one motor has a little bit more power, has double the power as the other. So it's still going to kind of move in a curve, but not like a center spindle type of curve there, okay, for 2 rotations. There you go. So you see how you can really pick up on this programming pretty easily from the icon-based programs. Isn't that cool? So, as it does always, it shows you the details here. You just drag and drop those here. I'm just going to do that pretty quickly. I have another weight block there. And then I'm going to have another tank. I haven't changed my numbers yet. Let me go ahead and drag this down here. Okay. And then I'm going to add another weight block. And then my last tank. All right. And if you notice, we have different ways of programming this. We have it with the angles. Again, just following the examples there. You can click in and change. You can type it in. Sometimes if you are moving with the pull down, sometimes you can't get the exact number. So you just type it in. Works just as fine. And then I'm going to do the -40. A little bit faster that way as well. And it says 685. And then stop, waits for a second, rotations again, but this is not rotations, but degrees. There we go. Actually, both of those are degrees. Type in the numbers, so on and so forth, right? Pretty straightforward, right? This is cool. The tank driving, again, is essentially, again, allowing you to power the motors separately versus with the steering, both motors are moving with the same amount of power. Okay, this is what we did before. Okay, I'm not adding that in my program, but that's the difference. Isn't that cool? Pretty awesome. And then you're going to connect it, download it, run the program. All right, so that's tank. Great different ways. That's a great way to, control the motion. And then the last one, I'm just going to show you stopping at an object, which can be very, very important as you are sensing, how far to go. How close do I want to get to something before my arm reaches out to do something? So this is a great program you really want to master. Okay, so I'll just play that. This one is using the ultrasonic sensor. So it's stopping within 6 centimeters. Okay, let me play that again. All right. It's sensing a distance. It's currently at 17 centimeters and it stops at 6. Moves backwards. Okay, there you go. All right, super cool. I love this one. All right, so let me just go ahead to, let me go back one step. So we do have to make sure we add our ultrasonic sensor to the driving base, because the base is just the base. It has no other extra parts to it. And make sure you have built the cuboid. Okay, so let's see if we can figure this out. All right, we know we have to move, and then we have this weight again, but remember how we had options for the different sensors, and we have the ultrasonic sensor this time. We'll talk a little bit about that. Then we have the both of the motors, the steering, they will just stop, wait, then what is it going to do? Go in the opposite direction, backwards, see the -50. And then it's going to do something else with the sensor. It's checking something, and then it will stop again. All right, so let's check this out. Okay, so I'm just going to drag these here pretty quickly here. Now I have the steering. And then let me pull the weight, and I'm going to say a few things about this one. Okay. And then I have some more movement going on. I'm going to stop. Sensor again. Oops. There we go. Let me pull this down. And I will add another steering. So let me go ahead and make these adjustments mainly to the weight, the sensor. Okay, so let's check it out here. All right, let me change this one to on. Now, why would I just have this keep moving? I can't, if I have it just on, it's just going to continue to move until. That's the purpose of that orange weight block. So here's where I can create kind of an if then else situation, an if then. Okay. So I don't want time anymore. What do I want? Ultrasonic sensor. And I want, where is it? Okay, let me find that. This in centimeters. Okay, I should have hovered over that. Change distance in centimeters, decrease. That's what I needed. Change. There we go. Change distance in centimeters. That's right. And so it'll be decrease, and then the number will be 11. There we go. Okay. Just trying to do it a different way. So there we go. So what is this saying? So the ultrasonic sensor says when I'm a certain distance away in centimeters, it's going to keep moving until I get here, and then it's going to stop. So I need to turn the motor off, and then it's going to do another test. Okay, so when it's within 11 centimeters, okay, it's going to then stop. Then what is it going to do? It needs to wait, just like I have it here. Wait a second. And then the motor is saying to turn on. Need to add my one more weight and go backwards, -50. There we go. And let me add my last sensor. So it's saying that I'm going to change my distance or do something when my distance is less than 6 centimeters. So let me switch that here. Ultrasonic sensor, change distance, and I'm going to say 0 to 6. So it's within 6 centimeters. So that's the maximum distance, is in centimeters. There we go. And then what do I want my motor to do? I want it to stop. X, turn off. Okay. So again, this is a comparison that your ultrasonic sensor will be making. I love these pictures. If you see that, that's the actual ultrasonic sensor. So it's saying that you're actually going to compare the distance, stop, wait, move backwards within 6 centimeters. And of course, what port that needs to be in, make sure it is in port 4. Okay, there you go. And then you download, click the download, and then you'll play that. So make sure you test that out and make sure you have some type of object that's in front of your robot. Start it with it maybe 20 centimeters away. test to make sure that it's actually doing these particular distances. So testing is always very, very important. So there you go. So I wanted to show you how you can use those sensors using the weight. It's a great way to use it versus, just pulling in those sensor blocks as well. Okay, so it's two ways you can use the sensors. Okay, so just have fun with these, making sure you're practicing with them, using those ones that seem appropriate for the challenge that you're trying to work with. Start small and then build upon your knowledge. So I'm very excited for you. Again, leave your questions for me. Happy to help. All right, thank you. Take care.